turf there all those years, and it really helped them because of the type of team they had. But George Toma is the greatest groundskeeper ever in the history of the game. Does the NFL fields for Super Bowls, and he was the groundskeeper for the Royals all those years, and they had artificial turf.
Right back to Kuroda. And he works a 1-2-3 inning as the Angels go down in order. Now we go to the bottom of the fourth. Robinson Cano will lead off as the Yankees lead 2-1. Big day in Brooklyn today at Brooklyn Borough Hall. The Nets announced or unveiled their new backcourt. And then Paul O'Neill said, listen, I could play forward. Joe Johnson, the new two-guard, threw out the first pitch and threw a strike to Russell Martin. A lot of pressure from Avery Johnson, the coach, who was part of the Bleacher Creatures roll call today. Avery said he better not bounce the ball, and Joe Johnson didn't. And I'll tell you what, the Nets did a lot of good stuff putting this team together. Joe Johnson's an outstanding player. They re-signed Gerald Wallace. They signed up Darren Williams. Brooks Lopez just got a huge contract as well, a 4-year deal. That one's lined into center field. There's excitement with the Brooklyn Nets for sure. They could be good.
Well, we're going, Michael, right? We're promised to.
Yeah.
We're going to be like what's that commercial, the State Farm guys up on the big screen, me and you dancing?
Let's do it. You know what? We'll go there for the first time for the Jay-Z concert.
All right.
And then a Net game will be the second time we go.
I'm hanging with you. You do well at concerts. I sat behind you in the last concert we went.
And that blocked out the whole stage, didn't it?
A lot of it. I didn't see the drummer, but I saw a couple of the side views.
Down in front.
That's right.
I'm sitting. 2-1 Yankees lead. Cano with a single that extends his hitting streak to 16 straight. And Swisher takes a strike.
It's another ho-hum bullet off Cano's, you know, and he has numbers-wise off left. He struggled a little bit this year, but he shouldn't because he's able to use all parts of the field. Guys that can, cover that ball away from lefties usually have success. Talking more about the first half and the second half, and ideally on Tuesday you're going to see CC Sabathia back in the rotation, and again that's how the depth of this team is. You know, Joe Girardi was able to give him a couple starts off, and you've lost Andy Pettitte, and you've actually increased your lead. It just shows how good the Yankees played going into the break when they won 100%.
Check swing. Did he go? No, said Paul Schreiber.
Well, it really helps when you have veteran guys that know their roles and are content with their roles. And, you know, you talk about Freddie Garcia, who had a rough April. They sent him to the bullpen, and since he's come back, he's just been exactly what they've needed. Just a veteran guy, knows how to pitch, never complained once.
Rounded to third. Let's see if they turn two. There's one, and there's two. And around the horn, 5-4-3 double play. Now let's take a look at the answer to the trivia question. Paul's been pondering this one. Cano is the sixth player in Yankees history at 20 more home runs and 20 more doubles before the break. Who are the other five? Who's the one you have?
Bobby Bonds. Was he one of them?
Mick's got to be on there.
I
Right?
didn't get
Yeah,
any.
Garrick, Soriano, Giambi, A-Rod, and Teixeira. So a lot of them recent players. Garrick obviously did it twice in 34 and 36. Everybody else, you'd know.
Tony, I got shut out.
Yeah, both of us. We're 0 for 10.
It happens. 0 for 10. That's right. That wasn't an 0 for 2. Huh?
Andrew Jones with a 6-game hitting streak. He struck out looking in the second inning.
See if Wilson goes back getting Andrew Jones the same way, where he showed him a lot inside, but he went soft away with everything that he was trying to throw for strikes. Break the ball away, and again, I mean, Coney, at this point, I mean, you can almost intentionally throw that cutter down and on his feet again and then go back away. A pitcher that doesn't mind being 2-2, doesn't mind going full, knowing that you have that pitch set up that you can get a guy out with.
Perfect time to throw a pitch that looks like a strike and ends up out of the zone.
Gone with the backdoor breaking ball, and he's gone with the 2 sliders on his foot. So this should be the changeup away.
Strike 3.
It's an easy game up here.
Andrew Jones does not like that call. No runs a hit. Nobody left on base. Is he right to complain? Looked pretty good. Callaspo leads off. New York Yankees baseball on My 9 is brought to you in part by Time Warner Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better. TV, internet, and home phone from Time Warner Cable. Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by McDonald's. With new McDonald's Extra Value Menu, you'll be paying less and tasting more. Taking it all in. Downloaded on the computer, ready to roll. And we're ready to roll here in the 5th inning. Alberto Callaspo will lead off against Hiroki Kuroda. Yankees lead 2-1. And that score is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know. All runs coming via the home run. Ibar with a solo shot for the Angels. 2-run shot for Mark Teixeira.
Michael, you told me last time in town, it's got to be a big lottery for you. I mean, 50, 60 million, that doesn't cut it.
It's got to be over. It's got to be over 100 million.
I like that, Cody.
Got a little bit of luck, a lot of luck, right?
Okay, that's kind of Irish, isn't it? Well,
you know what? I don't put myself into a box like that.
No?
No, I'm everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Heinz 57?
Pretty much, I'm everything. And Callaspo walks. I figure that if I could hit Lotto for 100 million, then I could legitimately hang with you and Coney and A-Rod and go to the same places.
I tell you what, you hit 50, 100 million, you're not in the booth tomorrow. I tell you that. You won't be hanging with us this weekend.
No, I'm in the booth. I'm just not taking orders. Here's Howie Kendrick. Got robbed of a base hit. Beautiful play by Mark Teixeira in the 3rd inning. Runner goes. Swung on a miss. Throw to second. Got him. Scioscia's trying to hit and run, but they're just not doing the hitting part.
Both times you see that ball running in. The hardest thing for a hitter is to have that ball running in on you and try to make contact. See Kendrick kind of tied up there. One mistake he does make there is to duck down to make it easy on Russell Martin. As a hitter, you don't have to duck down. You're not allowed to go out of the way to get in. Much harder for a catcher to throw when you're standing up.
Nice play by Kuroda. So a totally unproductive at bat for Kendrick. You know, one thing Russell Martin said, if I'm not going to hit, I got to do my job behind the plate. He's caught 2 base runners already tonight. And he said it would wear on me more not hitting if we weren't winning. He said, but we're winning. He said, obviously, I'm disappointed. I want to hit better than that, but I've got to do my job behind the plate, too. And that's tough for catchers.
That sounds like the thing you're supposed to say, but I'll tell you one thing. When the team is winning, it does make it easier to go through slumps, to go through tough times. Well, there's nothing worse than when you feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to and the team's losing and papers are writing about it. That's the worst. So he is in a good situation. Yankees up 7 games. But again, there's nothing better than turning it around in the second half and feeling like you're a big part of it.
There's a strike, and the count 0-2 on Ibar. Last time up, Ibar with a home run into the 2nd deck and right.
In the last 2 starts I've seen Kuroda, he's used the slider a lot more. He's gotten away from just being fastball split finger. He's using that slider to try to get to that split finger, obviously.
Swing and miss. And that'll do it. A 9-pitch inning for Hiroki Kuroda, who is pitching very well. We're halfway through. Yankees up by 1. Russell Martin will lead it off. Hey, come out to Yankee Stadium this Sunday, July 15th, for a special giveaway when the Yankees take on the Angels. The first 18,000 guests 14 and younger are going to receive a collectible truck, the 8th in a series, courtesy of WB Mason. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Here's Russell Martin. He grounded out to third in the second. And there's a strike. New York Lottery scoreboard, 2-1, bottom of the fifth. This is a lucky day for Russell Martin because in his career on Friday the 13th, he's 7 for 16 with a home run and 4 ribbies. That's 438. Today is Friday the 13th.
You know, it's funny you say that, Michael, because we flew in last night and I went to a restaurant. It just reminded me, it was one of my lucky restaurants. Did you have a lucky restaurant or two, Tony?
No.
No? Really? I had a few places that I could go and it was like guaranteed a good game. But you didn't want to push your luck and go there too much because it might mess things up. So you kept them for big games in the playoffs.
Can you tell us your lucky restaurant?
Alba's in Port Chester was good luck.
Right.
Molina's in White Plains.
Right.
And Terra's on Greenwich Avenue. All of them good luck restaurants.
But you didn't push it.
No, if you wait, you figure there's only so many good games in every restaurant. So if you waste it, you might need a big one, like if you were facing somebody big or, in the playoffs or something.
Where'd you eat the night before the perfect game, David?
I didn't eat, but my lucky places were Flanagan's and Brady's.
Yeah. Could have guessed that, too, huh?
Liquid meals.
Yes.
Did you eat a lot of your lucky meals with Boomer, too?
Boomer was out there. That was my job to keep him out of jail. That was not an easy
job. So
job.
you were his lucky charm.
That was it.
You did well, too, Coney.
Dorian's, Brady's.
A walk to Russell Martin. There is a place on the Upper East Side, and you might know this, David. The name of the place, you would think that this is this guy's lucky place. The name of the bar is Phil Hughes.
Really?
You've seen it, right?
Yes, I have seen it.
It's Phil Hughes. I mean, that would be my lucky bar.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I think it was there before Phil Hughes became a Yankee. Grew an extra foot in the All-Star break, Phil Hughes, so that's going to help. No, there it goes. What dork. Here's Jason Nix. Do the Yankees play for an extra run here in the fifth? No, they don't, as he'll take a strike.
Last time the Yankees have had their DH batting ninth. And this might be a first. You have to do some research on this one. Obviously, Nix is the DH batting ninth here.
Rounded to third. Callaspo to second one on to first. It's a double play.
That's one thing that you always have seen since Mike Scioscia has taken over managers out in California is defense. I mean, he believes in the small things. They run the bases well. They turn double plays. They catch the baseball.
Almost a phantom play by Kendrick around second there. He got off of that bag quick. But around the horn.
So 2 down. That's going to bring up Jeter.
Look at C.J. Wilson. To me, it was a surprise. As comfortable as he was in Texas, as successful as that team was, it was just a surprise for me to see him go elsewhere. You, Coney?
I think he really expected the Yankees to come calling hard, and he was very surprised that the Yankees did not come. We'll see here on second base. He's not on that bag. Close enough, I guess.
That neighborhood play, huh?
Yeah, I think he thought the Yankees were going to go after him, too.
Yeah, I think C.J. Wilson really was looking forward to the Yankees getting in the process, and they never did. Anaheim wanted him and came strong. And Texas was going to convert Neftali Feliz to the rotation. They thought they had a bunch of depth down there. And they were content to let C.J. Wilson test free agency and walk.
And it's amazing what money will do, because there was nobody more comfortable and perfect for a situation than Pujols. But they didn't want to give him a 10-year deal. So he left St. Louis. You wonder at times if he regrets that. Last time up, Derek singled and scored on the home run by Teixeira. His 1,817th run scored. That passes him in front of Carl Yastrzemski, and he is now in sole possession of 16th place on the all-time runs list. 3-2. We're in the fifth. Yankees lead 2-1. First game of the three-game set. First game of the second half of the season. Strike three. Jeter down looking. No runs, no hits, and because of the double play, nobody left on base. We're going to the sixth. 9-1-2 in the Angel order. We'll see Matt Trout. Yankees baseball is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Well, as we move along here in the sixth inning, we'll also take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Chase. Take a step forward with Chase Quick Pay by sending money as easily as sending an email. That's what he's doing right now. Sending an email.
I'll tell you one thing. Between innings, they had the fitness cam up on the big screen.
Right.
I'll tell you one thing, Michael. If anybody asks you, ever, if you want to CrossFit, the answer is no.
Why?
It's terrible. I did it today with my son. He's been challenging me. He's obsessed with this stuff. So I did it for like a half an hour with him today. When you start seeing stars, there's something wrong.
Ground ball, backhanded by Jeter. Nice play. One out. Mike Trout coming up. He was asked before the game his favorite player growing up.
Played shortstop my whole life. In senior year, I changed into an outfielder. And Jeter just always, when I turned on the TV, was on TV to watch him. It seemed like every time I turned on ESPN or turned on MLB, it was him. And just the way he approaches a game and the way he plays the game, just is what I wanted to be like when I grew up.
Well, he's all grown up at the age of 20 and having a great season. And now his family is sitting in Derek Jeter's box.
Yeah, I like that. You like me as a player? Mom and Dad are loud and sweet tonight.
Jeter has now become the guy, when you guys played, that everybody liked was Mattingly. You'd read all the media guides, favorite player growing up, Don Mattingly, and now it seems like it's Derek Jeter.
He's almost too young to remember us, Paulie.
Yeah.
1996, what was he, 7 years old?
Ground ball to Alex Rodriguez. I'll tell you what, Paul, that's intimidating if you couldn't handle a workout.
Oh, it's I'm telling you, if you ever hear CrossFit or if it involves a kettlebell, have you ever seen those things?
Yeah, sure.
Just the answer is no. Don't do it. Some things work better when you're young, and one of them, your heart. It's just, they go, and I'm telling you what, when I was done, I was done.
Well, that helps solve our problem for after the game tomorrow, Coney, because we were both going to do CrossFit, so
Yeah.
we got that time
I'd love
freed
to
up.
see that. Michael was going to run a 2K with me before the Old Timers game to get loose.
No,
He
you
said-
were going to run a 2K.
He told me to do a circle around he and his wife.
That's 2Ks.
That was enough.
My idea of CrossFit is to get from the east side to the west side of Manhattan in a cab.
It's going to cost you 17% more, I saw on the news last night,
That's right.
too.
The 2-0. There's a strike. Torrey Hunter, a free agent at the end of this year. Signed a big contract with the Angels, and they've had good years, but they haven't been able to win championships. Broken back, ground ball to Jeter. And that'll do it. Another good inning for Hiroki Kuroda. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. You'll see Mark Teixeira coming up second. He's flashed the leather so far, and also the lumber, as the 2-run home run has given the Yankees a 2-1 lead. You made it a hit. Now this fall, Dish Nation is back. Join the country's funniest DJs, including Scott and Todd from New York's PLJ. They're great guys, by the way, as they dish on all the hottest celebrity news. So tune in to Dish Nation, weeknights this fall on My 9. You guys ever meet Scott and Todd?
I don't know if it's Scott or Todd, but one of them lives up in Westchester.
Yes.
And
I think it's Scott.
It's Scott?
Yeah.
My wife was a big fan of that show back on PLJ. Was it PLJ?
PLJ, yeah. 95.5. Granderson grounds one foul. Yankees have the power. Tonight's league leaders are brought to you by the New York. Jose Bautista and Josh Hamilton lead with 27. Then Adam Dunn, an all-star, 25. Granderson and Encarnacion and Ortiz tied with 23. And Encarnacion just signed a 3-year deal for $27 million. Trout dives, can't make the play as it gets by him. Granderson's at second. He is going for 3. And he'll make it. Trout seemed like he was caught betwixt and between. Should I try to make the catch or should I block it? And he did neither.
You know, the hardest play going in is diving with your glove in front of you instead of to the side. And you're right, Michael. He stutter stepped a couple times and then you get in nowhere, so you might as well go for it. Just never got at a good angle where he could go to catch that ball. These are the ones that you can get hurt on too. If this glove rolls over, you just knew at the end he really didn't have a chance to catch it, that had already started his dive.
All right, so the Angels are going to bring the infield in at least halfway for Teixeira with a runner on third base and nobody out. Couple chances for the Yankees to get another run. They lead 2-1.
Teixeira's had 2 really good at-bats off Wilson. One being a line drive, the other one being a line drive into the seats.
16 home runs for Teixeira. That's the most by a first baseman in the major leagues. Count 1-1.
A lot off again, setting up that pitch with a slider, hard slider in. And he uses that changeup or the backdoor curveball to hit the outside corner.
Grounded to third, fair ball. Callaspo fields, and they get Teixeira. They hold Granderson at third.
I'll tell you, as a hitter, I never thought it was that easy. You know, with the infield in, I thought it almost put more pressure. And it used to frustrate me sitting out in the outfield when you just give up runs. And right here, I mean, in between hop, nothing Granderson can do. And if he gets caught off third, he could get tagged there. Coney, if it was your decision as a pitcher, infield in majority of the time with a guy on?
No, I kind of liked halfway.
Yeah.
You know, I prefer a little bit of both. That way, if the ball's hit hard enough, you'd have a choice to go home or go to first.
Now all the way in for A-Rod. It was halfway for Teixeira. Now they come all the way in for A-Rod.
It's a good read by Granderson, too, right off the bat to get back to the bag.
A lot of times as a third baseman, you come down here, and if you think that ball is at you, you kind of freeze. And again, that ball ended up fair. He could have been tagged out really easily.
Guys, why would they play Teixeira halfway and A-Rod all the way in? Any rhyme or reason to that?
Well, you have an out now, so you're taking more of a chance, obviously. With nobody out, you know, you still have a chance to make a play and get an out. Now you put the pitcher in a position where if he can get another one, he can get out of this inning. So I think you just, with an out, you're taking more of a gamble now to try to get that second out.
And the gamble works as they hold Teixeira, or they hold Granderson. So A-Rod grounds out. He's 0 for 3, and he's hearing the Bluebirds here.
And Coney, you know what I mean? This is so important as a pitcher. You've made 2 great pitches to get to 2 outs, not to lose concentration, think you're out of this thing, and then give up a cheap hit.
You know, yeah, it's exactly right. And Wilson comes in both times. You know, you would think with the infield in, he'd be going down and away, but he came in twice and jammed both Teixeira and Alex. And that one's a broken bat. Sometimes that's the best way you can do it if you're not a predominantly ground ball pitcher, to try to jam a guy to keep the ball in the infield.
It's almost like he pitched completely backwards with a men in scoring position. I mean, he has shown in not wanting to throw strikes and got people out of the way. Now he gets a guy on third base and he's throwing strikes intentionally inside and he's jamming.
So here's Cano, and there's a strike. Cano singled his last time up to extend his hitting streak to 16 straight.
Look at those numbers, and they're tremendous, but they don't surprise you when you're that good of a hitter.
Line drive, and he pitched out of it. Coney always talks about picking up your fielders, and that's exactly what he did with Trout. Trout made a bad play in center. He gets a ground ball, and a line drive, and we're going to go to the 7th. Yankees up by 1. All right, we go to the 7th inning, and we'll take a look now at the in-game box score brought to you by Lincoln. The Lincoln Discovery Drive Sales event is going on right now. There you have it. Not too many hits in there as Kuroda's done a great job. Trout has a base hit, and that was a single. And then a home run by Ibar. A solo shot, obviously, and Trumbo also with a hit, a single. Just a great job so far for Hiroki Kuroda as we go to the 7th. He's leading 2-1. Albert Pujols, heart of the order coming out, 3, 4, and 5. So it's 2-1 on the scoreboard, brought to you by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. And a strike.
You look at guys that get off to bad starts and you think, this is going to be a year that just doesn't quite cut it. Albert Pujols is so capable of having a month that shows up as, a half a year for a lot of guys. I mean, he could throw up 15 home runs and 30 or 40 RBIs in a month. He has that type of power. So, those numbers you see now could easily be, 35, 40, and 130. It's just, that's the type of offensive player he is.
That one's lined into left center field. No one's going to get that. And it's played out there by Andrew Jones. He comes up firing, and he holds Pujols to a leadoff single here in the 7th. Pitch count's in great shape for Kuroda. 68 pitches here in the 7th inning.
Ball got in on Pujols, but you're right. I mean, Kuroda has really been good at keeping guys off balance. Uses slider more. That fastball has a little movement in on the label. Albert Pujols strong enough that most guys just bloop that over the shortstop's head. That ball went in the left field gap. I'll tell you what, this guy right here gets hot. This lineup's really going to roll, and he's capable. I mean, he saw some numbers before his injuries. I mean, he's capable of doing a lot of things.
Pitch is high. 1-0.
Corey, you get to this time of the game and you've thrown such a good game, but you keep looking back and it's 2-1, and you just know that every single pitch can change the outcome of this game, and it all goes. You have to break it down to pitch by pitch instead of batters. I look at that swing right there, and that's when I know somebody just isn't right. I mean, that's a fastball right down the middle of the plate, a ball you can really handle, and it just, you can't foul that off. And when you're hot, you don't foul that ball off. See the reaction for Alice at the end of it. You just know as a hitter, I missed one, and you're probably not going to see that pitch again.
Impressive numbers there for teams with over 500 records. 10 games of that sort. He's 6-3, and the best ERA in the majors against teams over 500.
The fastball, one on the inner half. You have such a tendency here, Coney, to want to go to your split finger, but you just got to finish throwing a fastball right by the guy. It's hard to go away from him.
Yeah, if you're reading the bat, he was late 2 times in a row there. You think you got to test him back inside again with a fastball. Well, unless you're just going to bounce that splitter on top of home plate and try to get him to chase.
And he hit him. Costly on 1-2. He certainly didn't want to do that. Now the Angels have runners on first and second, nobody out.
And that's the problem with trying to be perfect on that inside corner. If you do miss, you miss inside, and this is what happens. And you go from a possible strikeout to 2 men on and nobody out. I'll tell you what, those don't hurt on slow-mo camera, but I tell you what, they do hurt depending on where they hit you. Look at this situation in a close game like Trumbo, 22 home runs. I mean, the old days you start thinking, are we going to move these guys over? You get a guy like at the plate like this, boy, you want 3 good hacks. So she sent a couple runners early with hit and runs, and Russell Martin's done a good job. So
Grounded foul.
there's innings where you play small ball, and there's innings where you look for that 3-run homer. And right now, when you get a couple guys on in this lineup, I'm hoping this guy can launch one for you for the manager.
Yeah, Trumbull looking for something up he can drive, and Kuroda trying to get the ball on the ground. Try to get 2 outs on a double play.
Snap throw to second. Just got back.
It's a reaction play from the pitch before. You know, you see guys leaning out here going the wrong way.
See Cano breaking already. It's a preset play, as Paulie said. And a great try, you know, with first and second, nobody out late in the game here. Try to steal it out.
I'll tell you what, if that ball's down by the bag, he probably has it. And, you know, Albert Pujols, not the fastest guy in the league. Trying to, you get that secondary lead. You want to be moving towards third base where you can score on a base hit. Smart play by Russell Martin.
Yeah, you got to go ahead and follow through there because the play is set. Russell Martin follows through with a great backhanded pick.
That one's driven deep to left center field. No one's catching that. See ya into the bleachers over the Angels bullpen. A 3-run shot, and the Angels now lead 4-2.
Joe Girardi, you just saw this inning happening. You know, that hit by pitch really set things up where you have to pitch to Trumbull. You know, there's no outs in the inning. You got 2 men on, and you just bound. Kuroda's been so good, but I don't care how good you are, you're bound to make some mistakes. Just pull out over the middle of the plate. And I'll tell you what, there's as much power as that. I mean, we're talking about Pujols, guys like that has as much power as anybody in the American League.
Swing and a miss.
Kuroda trying to come in on Trumbo there and left it just on the plate. Right in his wheelhouse.
Nice play by Alfredo Griffin.
Guys that are used to hitting home runs, you know. Another day at the office, right? Like a 450-foot home run.
All the guys are asking him, what'd you hit? What'd you hit? Fastball? Yeah, fastball right there. Yeah.
Lukewarm fastball. Didn't have a lot of movement. Ended up over the Yokohama sign where we'd never see. I've never seen one over the bullpen there, Michael. You?
Maybe one. That's some shot.
That leg kick just keeps him back in just total extension.
Some kind of hip rotation there too. Wow, powerful lower half.
I got my drive today if I had that, huh, Connor?
1-2. Strike 3. Piaspo down looking.
Again, Kuroda goes back to that slider. He's had good success with throwing that ball down and getting strikes with it.
Starts it off the plate. Breaks it right over the outside corner. Question is whether it was high enough or not. Very close. Piaspo didn't think so.
And there's a strike to Kendrick.
All right, Michael, now I'm looking out here that we've seen an upper deck shot in right field. You said you've seen balls over the bullpen into the stands. Has anybody hit the people in center field?
There's a ground ball past A-Rod and down the left field line. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Kendrick will stop at second with a double. I don't think they've hit one over the restaurant, but they have hit the Mohegan Sun Bar glass, but I don't think they've hit it over.
Getting ball down the line. Nothing you could do as an outfielder. Just cut it off, sure double. And get by you. Again, Ray Rothschild's going to go out. A lot has happened in this inning that, you know, it's almost a shock. When you're going that well, Coney, all of a sudden you look up and it's just kind of a shock of what's happened in the last couple minutes.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
Really the hit batter that set up this inning. You know, he was up in that count. You know, Kendry Morales with 2 strikes tried to bust him up and in and drilled him in the elbow. And that set up first and second, nobody out, and Trumbo came up and 1 pitch on the inner half, and that's the story.
You know, and looking back at that pitch, Russell Martin was giving him a high target. They were intentionally just trying to get him off the plate, so you were almost wasting a pitch to get a strikeout, and the next thing you know, he's on first base, and now you've got a rally.
Pitch outside to Ibar. And also, let's not forget what happened in the bottom of the 6th. Runner on third base, nobody out. The Yankees could not get that runner in with Teixeira, A-Rod, and Cano coming up, and that kind of changes the complexion of this inning. And all things are interconnected in baseball. 1-run lead makes you pitch differently than a 2-run lead.
Talked earlier in the game that Morales can get going. And, you know, he got on first base there, obviously by a hit by pitch, but it's going to give trouble. He's going to have opportunities where they can't pitch around him, and he's just got so much power. And sooner or later, guys make mistakes. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, those home runs are a mistake from a pitcher. They're not a pitch that, you know, was intentionally thrown in that location. Oh, this brings back great memories, Coney. Right off the instep.
See, how you do this is the bat's way out in front on a cutter. Ibar reads fastball, he gets way out in front, and that's how you pull it right down on your foot, especially a ball that's breaking into you a little bit.
And you know, as a hitter, the pitcher's out there just, I'm throwing the same pitch. I'm going right back in there. You just cannot, you don't want to swing at it because you don't want to do it again.
So Ibar's having a hard time here, too. That was a direct hit.
Yeah. I remember one time facing Mariano Rivera in spring training when everything's off a little bit. Mariano was pretty good, but every once in a while his ball was cut. That's just the way it is. He threw a cutter and I hit it right off my shin. That's it. First gone. That's enough. I don't need this.
Chad Qualls warming. So the big blow in this inning, the 3-run home run by Trumbo, and Trumbo seems to have got the Yankees number. Now he's homered in 5 straight games this year against the Yanks.
Now you know why Robinson Cano picked him for the home run hitting contest, because he's seen it firsthand.
So Ibar's okay, back in the box.
The strength of the Angels is, I mean, their late bullpen, very, very good, and that's, you know, it's a mark of a good team. I mean, when you get in close games, you can close them out. So, tough task for the Yankees in the next couple innings.
Pop foul. To amplify the point that Paul just made, the closer for the Angels is Ernesto Frieri. And since joining the Angels, he struck out 45 of the 105 batters he's faced. He averages 15.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's 11 for 11 in save opportunities. And the guy never allows a run. 3 earned runs in 38 and a third innings, a 0.71 ERA.
Guy kind of just fell through the cracks too. I mean, they just ended up with the Angels. They didn't have to trade half their team to get him. They just come in and been unbelievable.
Got him from the Padres.
And once in a while, it happens.
Last year, the youngster Walden was a little erratic for them, so they decided to try to get a better closer, and boy, it's worked out. So the Yankees pretty much want to get it done in the 7th or the 8th inning before they have to deal with Frieri. Since joining the Angels on May 3rd, 26 1/3 scoreless innings for Frieri. As Ibar down on strikes and down looking.
Good pitch there by Kuroda, and you haven't seen this much from him tonight. That two-seam fastball at the left-hander's hip and run it back out into the plate. Tough pitch to hit for a lefty. See, you're looking for that ball out there, and then it runs back out over the plate. Hard to pull the trigger.
So runner remains at second with 2 outs, and here is the number 9 hitter, the catcher John Hester.
Now, I really believe, Paulie, that was a pitch that was really made popular by Mike Scioscia, the catcher, when he was with the Dodgers, and Oral Hershiser back in the late 80s. You didn't really see that pitch a lot in the 70s or 60s even. Right. It was a pitch that was frowned on because it runs back to the barrel of the bat. But Hershiser and Scioscia, I think, pioneered the game in terms of that two-seam swing back pitch that righties throw to lefties. And of course, Greg Maddux picked it up from there and became one of the best all time throwing that particular pitch.
It's funny you say that, because I was going to ask you that, because right when I got into the major leagues, you didn't see that pitch. And you're right, sinker guys, it was always sinkers away, and you didn't see a lot of cutters. Now cutters, everybody throws it, and now everybody kind of throws that comeback two-seamer. Is it harder to control that inside part of the plate?
Very hard to control. You have to be very precise with your control, otherwise it ends up right in the middle of the plate.
Hitting-wise, it wasn't such a bad thing.
I remember talking to Oral Hershiser about that, and both he and Mike Scioscia, one of the great catchers with the Dodgers, really one of the first catchers to move inside and out, move all the time for pitches, give targets off the plate. Scioscia was great. So was Hershiser that year. He broke Drysdale's record, but Hershiser said that Drysdale told him not to throw that pitch, because it was a home run pitch if you missed with it.
Swing and a miss, and that'll do it. But the damage has been done. Yankees entered the inning. They're up 2-1. And then Mark Trumbo comes up with runners on first and second and connects on a 3-run home run. So the Angels lead 4-2. It's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. And we'll stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
We remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now, join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
To the
We go to the bottom of the 7th. Time for the in-game box score, brought to you by Lincoln. The Lincoln Discovery Drive sales event is going on now. Lot hits at the top. Derek Jeter with a run scored. Curtis Granderson a triple. Mark Teixeira, the Yankee offense, a 2-run home run, but that came in the 3rd inning. Robinson Cano with a single to extend his hitting streak to 16 straight. The bottom of the order not doing much. So C.J. Wilson with a reprieve as the Angels lead 4-2 now as we go to the bottom of the 7th. On the PNC Bank scoreboard, Swisher leads off 0 for 1 with a walk. And a strike to the Yankee right fielder. It'll be Swisher, Jones, and Martin.
Biggest inning as a starter, Coney, when they pull up some runs till you get back out there.
His pitch count's in good shape, too. The 88th pitch of the game puts him up 1-2. Good changeup away there to Swisher. The 1-2. 2-2.
It's funny, he really has commanded this inner part of the plate with a lot of balls with that cutter down and in, but then he got 2 huge outs, the man on third base, by throwing strikes in there. So I don't know if he's kept the strikes inside for big situations, but he's used the inside part of the plate down in the dirt. Nothing you can do with it.
Swisher's worked the count full, 3-2. Wilson deals. Foul away.
You see, that's his top fastball, 93.
Line drive, beats it down the left field line. It'll go into the corner. Swisher will get himself a leadoff double here in the 7th.
Got a lead, and he got in a count where he was going to use fastballs. He just got that one right down the middle. Swisher good at bat, working the count, getting in the fastball count, and then C.J. Wilson was not going to walk him. So driving it down the line for a double.
Aspo went up there, just couldn't come down with it.
That ball was hit hard. A lot of times you see guys jump, that ball is by him.
Andrew Jones has game tie ability, that's for sure. 4 home runs in 3 games against the Red Sox at Fenway. Yankees took 3 out of 4. He played in 3 of the games. He struck out twice tonight, pitches a strike. Andrew is not like the strike zone at all of home plate umpire Mike Everett. And you see Kevin Jepson warming.
It's that backdoor breaking ball as a hitter. It just get off the plate, which means in the hitting area it's even farther off the plate.
Like he clipped the outside corner. High fly ball, right field. Hunter makes the catch. Swisher tags. He's going to third, and he will make it.
And you look at that swing by Andrew Jones, and he hit it pretty good. But I mean, he's got home run power. But if you look at the majority, if not all of them, he's a pull hitter. He's not a guy that's going to drive a lot of balls out to right center field. Good pitch by Wilson. Good base running by Swisher, knowing that he just didn't quite get it. Move to third.
Yeah, that's a good point. If Andrew Jones hits a home run to right field, it's almost a mistake. Either he swings late or gets beat and catches one that flies out over the short porch. But most of his power is pulled.
Big spot for Russell Martin. Now they play the infield back, so they will give a run on a ground ball. with the Angels up 4-2. Backdoor again, and he clips the outside corner 0-1. So Martin has grounded into a force at third and then walked.
The only person here, if you look at the overhead here, Albert Pujols has kind of snuck in at first base in case Martin just tries to shoot one over there. Is the only person.
Hot shot to third, knocked down by Callaspo, and they get the out at first.
I'll tell you what, that's just a tough position if you're Nick Swisher. Ball's hit right on the nose, hit so hard that you can't get a good jump. Good piece of hitting by Martin, just a bad break. And you see Swisher just freezes. And there's nothing. If he comes up with that ball cleanly, he'll throw him out easy at the plate. Just bad luck. Ball hit hard.
And Callaspo got no leather on that. That was right off of his wrist.
Didn't feel too good either. And, you know, to Nick Swisher's defense there, you know, that ball was almost a line drive that you have to freeze. Don't know if he's going to catch it on the fly.
A big spot here for Jason Nix. To really pick the Yankees up and get a big 2-out hit here to cut the lead in half.
These are the outs that I look back that, you know, the really good pitchers seem to get these outs. You know, they don't give up that extra run. And I look at, you were really good at it, Coney. Pettit was really good at it. Clemens, Jimmy Key, way back in. I mean, just always seem to get those outs. Those 2 outs to save that run.
Wilson falling behind 2-0.
Yankees 0 for 7 tonight with runners in scoring position. Strike 2-1.
Yeah, you almost have to know that if you're Knicks. That, I mean, you're hitting in the 9-0. You've got Jeter behind you. You know, even though there's a base open, you know, and you're the tying run. I mean, this guy's going to come after you.
Well, that was a good ball to hit right there.
Yep.
Be the 100th pitch for Wilson coming up.
2-2.
Wilson knows. I mean, they got a good bullpen. This is the guy that I have to go after. Even when I start down 2-0 in the count, he's come back with 2 fastballs. Now he's kind of set him up for whatever he wants to do, whether he wants to bust him in with that cutter, try that backdoor breaking ball.
So again, the Yankees have a runner in scoring position, and they can't get it done. We go to the 8th inning. 4-2, Angels lead. I'm losing my voice. I don't know if I got 5 more games in me. York Yankees baseball on My 9 is brought to you in part by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Prudential, bring your challenges. And by Nissan. Get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun at Nissan Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com or your local Nissan dealer. A couple of squandered opportunities for the Yankees as C.J. Wilson bears down. Runner on third base, nobody out, they don't score. Runner on third base, one out, they don't score. So it's still 4-2 Angels. Mike Trout will lead off.
Coney, you look at a well-pitched game, which you've seen tonight, and it comes down to whether you got big outs or whether they got you. And C.J. Wilson tonight has got huge outs when he needed to get them.
Line drive over the leaping try of A-Rod and down the left field line. Trout rounds first. He's going to second. Now, boy, he runs hard out of the box, gets himself a leadoff double.
He is fast, and you know, A-Rod, because of his speed, has to play in a little bit, and that's why this ball gets over his head. This is a double because of his speed.
Well, this is how you hit about 350. You get 2 knocks every night.
Hey, Alex, all the way in on the grass, just over his club. I tell you, it looks free and easy, and he doesn't even have to. He doesn't even look. I mean, he knows out of the box. This is a double.
Jeff Bradley had a nice story on Mike Trout today from Millville, New Jersey, a town that's been hit hard with the economic downturn. And many of the families and the kids in the town have rallied around Trout, somebody who's made it big, and everybody in that town now, Mike Trout fan and Angels fan as well. You know, a lot of those people are in the ballpark tonight. And you know, some of his family sitting in Derek Jeter's box. Do I see some rain coming down?
Let's go. Bring it up.
The 1-0. One more.
I mean, don't you think that breaking in and being a superstar here as Trout is easier to do out in a city like Anaheim, where it's kind of laid back and you can go to the ballpark? You know, if you're doing this with the Yankees, there's 50 people in front of your locker every single day, and you have to talk about it, you have to think about it.
Especially a Jersey kid, too.
Yeah.
See the out-of-town scoreboard as we move along. Brought to you by Prudential. Bring your challenges. Well, coming into town, there were so many requests to talk to Mike Trout that they set him up in the interview room. They didn't want him sitting in front of his locker.
You know, he did the right thing. And you get up there and you say, you know, you talk about your idols and your best, and you talk about Derek Jeter, and then immediately everybody runs over and talks to Derek Jeter. How do you like this? This guy is, you know, you're his idol.
And then he gives you this luxury box.
That's right.
1-2. Strike 3. Hunter down looking.
And sometimes as a hitter you can outthink yourself, and then you get an account with 2 strikes with Kuroda, you look off speed, see a fastball right there, and it just freezes you as a hitter.
He's got plenty of plate.
Here is Pujols. He started the 3-run 7th inning with a single. Breaking ball strike.
Tell you what, that's early in the count, and you can kind of get away with it. But you know, if Albert's in this count and he's seen that pitch before, that pitch right there had a lot of play. Again, as a first pitch, you get away with that. But you know, you throw that with 2 strikes, it's going to get hammered.
Quickly in head of the count, 0-2.
Really does come down to about 2 pitches for both starting pitchers tonight. You know, Wilson was able to pitch out of jams with the infield in on 2 different batters and 2 fastballs in. And for Kuroda, it was one was a hit batter, a fastball in, and the other was a fastball middle in that Trumbo launched. So 4-2 game. Both pitchers really have matched each other except for 2 pitches.
tough at bat for Albert Pujols. Even up to 0-2. You're down in the count, but you know that Kuroda still is going to try to throw that perfect pitch. And if he gets to 3-2, he's still going to try to throw it. So it's not, you're not in an aggressive mode as a hitter when you know the pitcher is going to take 4 chances to make a perfect pitch. They're not going to come after you, even ahead in the count.
Runner goes, throw to third. Valentine, stolen base.
I'll tell you what, to steal third base there, great. Again, you feel that if you're Trout on third base, Kuroda's going to go off speed ahead in the count. So Martin got a pitch in, and he just outran the ball.
Well, that is really, really close. Good throw by Martin. And he's out.
Out.
He is out. Got him on the knee before the foot hit the bag. Third base umpire Laz Diaz did not get that one right, although it was bang bang.
Safe and live play and out on slow-mo.
Infield is in now for Pujols. Fly ball right field. Coming on is Swisher, dives. It's a fair ball, and it bounces into the seats for a double. Trout will score, and the Angels now lead 5-2.
You know, this has been a weird inning because Trout gets a double, and you see Pujols, he comes up limping here. And I'll tell you what, if you're Mike Scioscia and the Angels, you're holding your breath. But Trout hits a double because of his speed, and now Pujols hits a double because of his power, because Swisher has to really do it. But you see him coming out of the box.
Let's see when he hurts himself. Rounding first.
Yep, it's like a quad or a hemi on that left leg. See him telling the
think it was the way he hit the bag, Paul, or did he pull
No, it looked
something?
like something kind of just tweaked, and he kind of jogged out of the box, and then you saw him kind of turn it on, and then he stepped funny.
Rubbernecking that double down the line.
Something in that left leg.
Well, the Yankees are going to go to the bullpen. It looks like Pujols is going to stay in the game. You stay right where you are. We'll return.
Help us continue to make a difference. Go to serve.gov and find the opportunity that works for you. This message.
Tonight after the game, Robbie Cano reveals a big secret to his success. The 2 big tips he got from A-Rod and Jeter that changed his career on the Verizon Fios game wrap-up tonight on the 10 o'clock news on My 9. One big tip make you that good, Cone? Huh?
I don't know about that, but makes for a good story, though, right?
New pitcher for the Yankees, and Joe Girardi makes a call to the bullpen, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Introducing Verizon Fios Quantum Speed, internet twice as fast as anything America has ever seen. And we now see Chad Qualls take over Haruki Kuroda, who actually pitched very well, but made some mistakes that have cost him, and now he's trailing 5-2. And those are the numbers that Qualls shows with the Phillies and the Yankees.
That even sounds fast.
Oh, it's fast. Quantum is fast. So Pujols actually stays in the game. And Qualls faces Kendrys Morales. And a strike. Nice crowd here on a Friday night, just under a sellout, 47,873 in the Bronx.
You hear about summertime in New York, a lot of people take that away from the city. And I'll tell you one thing, at 5 o'clock today, I think everybody was in town. Well, Park comes Deegan with me. See that line score 0 for 2 hit by pitch, but that hit by pitch became such a huge play in this game.
Kuroda really threw the ball well, and you're gonna, like you said, Paul, you look at his line and say, boy, he gave it up tonight. 5 runs. He's still responsible here for Pujols on second base.
Pitching those games, the close games, they're 2-1 games, and a mistake, all of a sudden it changes the whole game. And pitching with a 5-run lead, you pitch a little more free and easy. Just you're talking that every pitch was a game changer, and we got that one pitch out to Trumbull, and then next thing you know, it was 4-2. Have a lot of ice in that Angel locker room for some for balls off the ankles, balls off the shins. I wore one of those things and they never work. They just miss every time. Yep, right off the toe.
See the bat head way out in front, pulling it straight down on top of the foot. See Qualls with that heavy sinker. He's got good movement tonight too.
1-2. Popped up. A-Rod for the second out.
Again, you talk about Morales and how good a hitter he's had some really good pitches to hit tonight. Again.
Trumbo has been the star of the night, and it all changed right here. The fastball in, he pulls foul. There's the pick and the throw through. They're trying to pick off Morales or Pujols at second. And then the fastball that doesn't get in. And Trumbo just laces it. Kuroda can't believe how far that one went. This kid can do it. He is country strong.
You really don't buy those seats out there and expect a souvenir.
No.
I mean, you expect to get on the opposing relief pitchers, but not get a home run ball. So Trumbo is 2 for 3. That one's drilled the other way. Deep to right. Swisher back. And leaps. And he makes the play. So Trumbo bids for a second home run, but he is foiled by Nick Swisher. Swisher goes up and probably takes away a long ball. But the Angels get another run, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. Qualls likes what he sees. The My 9 Comedy Club is New York's place for laughs every weeknight, starting at 5 with a full hour of Everybody Loves Raymond, then a King of Queens doubleheader at 6 and 7:30, plus back-to-back episodes of How I Met Your Mother at 6:30 and 7. So don't miss a second of the big laughs every weeknight on My 9. Well, the cheer is for Derek Jeter as Mike Scioscia's made some changes. Mike Trout moves from center to left. And the new center fielder is Peter Borges, a very good defender. And the new pitcher is the lone lefty in the bullpen for the Angels, Scott Downs.
I'll tell you what, Nick Swisher took away a home run. I mean, he did a good job. And the reason that Trumbo, you have to play deep because of his power. He got back to the wall, gave himself a chance.
Look at that ERA, Paul. 0.30.
That's kind of hard to beat. Opposing batting average 204. We talked about the late inning bullpen that the Angels have had this year. Second to none.
Jeter takes a strike. So the Yankees don't have to worry about Trumbo with a 5-2 lead. What Scioscia's doing, he's worried about defense, and he's just tightened up his defense. Trumbo is not a great defender. They really look at him as a first baseman, but once they got Pujols, that was gone. They moved him at third. He's not a great third baseman, and so they have him in left field. Jeter lines from the right center. It is a base hit. It splits the outfielders, and it goes to the wall. Jeter picks up his second hit of the night, and it's a double to start off the 8th inning.
Derek Jeter been swinging the bat pretty well going into the break, and again, all year against left-handed hitters. I mean, it gives him an opportunity to see the ball a little bit. Ball out over the middle of the plate. When Derek Jeter stays in the right center field, he's at his best. Again, this ball is hit well. This wasn't one a blooper. This ball hit on the barrel, shot out to the fence.
Drove that ball well. Scott Downs, we saw that great ERA he had. That 0.30 ERA means he's given up one earned run all year. And if the law of averages have anything to do with it, you would think that he's due.
Here's Granderson. And a breaking ball misses outside.
You start thinking that way, Coney, you really have to fight it when you're going through great times out on the baseball field. It's like, you know, how long is this going to last? Can I get another hit? Or in your case, you know, can I get another out, another inning without scoring? Sometimes you just start doubting yourself when you're in hot streaks.
Misses with 2 breaking balls away, so Granderson's worked himself into a good count, 2-0. Left-handers at 180 against Downs, and right-handers at 224, so no one's had much success against him. Got a couple of righties due up after this, and Teixeira, the switch hitter, and A-Rod. Yankees have to capitalize. This is the 3rd straight inning that they started off the inning with an extra base hit. They started off the 6th with a triple. They started off the 7th with a double, and neither time did they score the run. So now they start off the 8th with a double. There's a strike. 5-2, Angels lead the Yankees. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Trying to figure out why Downs has had so much success against lefty. And, you know, he's got a curveball, and he's not overpowering, but it looks like he hides the ball real well, kind of crossfires.
Granderson is hitless in 12 at-bats against Downs. And now it's 3-2.
That's a fastball, but it's funny, almost had a sinker and a slider most of the time. What do you call this, Cody? This is a 90 mile an hour, and it cuts and sinks.
Yeah, he really got it in a good spot. You can see. Looks like a 2-seam grip. He's got a corkscrew spin to it. In a great spot.
3-2, and he worked the wall. So now with Teixeira coming up, he comes up as the tying run. In the third inning, Teixeira was the Yankee offense. Nice catch by a fan out in the seats and left. A 2-run home run by Teixeira. That's all the Yankees did against C.J. Wilson. So Jeter's on second, and Granderson is on first. Trying to get the attention of the outfielders. They move Trout just a bit over to the line, but not much. Strike. Teixeira, 2 hits and 14 at-bats against the Angels lefty.
When you see a swing like that, a guy's just back-legging it, trying to hit one out of the world on it.
We got to appreciate the moxie of Scott Downs. I mean, here it is, hit it right there. First 2 pitches of this at-bat. Probably not trying to throw it there, belt high right down the middle, but Teixeira swings right through it.
Missed outside.
Mike Scioscia anxious to try to get those calls and get these big outs.
Scioscia staring down home plate umpire. You see that ball's well off the plate. It's one thing you can't tell from the bench. You can't tell in and out. You can tell up and down.
That one's driven deep to left field. There it goes. See ya. Tie game 5-5. A 3-run shot from Mark Teixeira. His second home run of the game. And he has all 5 runs batted in.
They got to hit him with fastballs. He threw a couple fastballs and he tried to go with a breaking ball and he hung it right over the middle of the plate. Mark Teixeira waits on it, and a hanging breaking ball, Coney, usually ends up in the seats if you're a power hitter. Mark Teixeira's had great at-bats tonight, had good swings. You see this breaking ball just up in the zone, just hanging right there. Knew right off the bat. Just coming off the All-Star break.
A-Rod with a hot shot to Tyaspo. And A-Rod is now 0 for 4 tonight.
Well, Downs has had an unbelievable year to this point. And, he just gets the days off. You'd think it was fresh. That almost looked like a tired arm curveball. Just kind of hanging. This ball kind of hit on the nose, too. But
now, David, I'm going to ask you what might be a dumb question, but I know that the synapses of athletes work a lot faster than the normal person. When you let go of a breaking ball, before it even gets to home plate, do you know it's trouble?
Yes, you can tell. Just
out of your hand.
Right out of your hand, it feels fat, like hitting a golf ball fat. You know,
it's a bad feeling.
Yeah, you kind of hit the ground instead of the ball. That's the way it feels coming out of your hand. You just feel it off your fingertips. It didn't get the tight rotation you wanted.
And as a hitter, you pick up a bad breaking ball just immediately. It doesn't have that snap to it. It doesn't have the spin to it. It's your eyes get big. The pitcher's hoping he gets it back. All these things happen in like a half a second.
Yeah.
So that's a funny thing about it.
You ever let out a yell? That's what's coming out wrong.
No, your eyes get real big though, because especially the first thing I notice sometimes is the hitter's eyes get real big.
And you can process all that in that half a second.
You can see it. You can see it, especially when the hitter's eyes really get big and light up when the pitch is halfway to home.
Some funny things that happen as a hitter. I mean, you talk about eye contact. A lot of pitchers, they pick up the catcher late. There are some pitchers that stare at the target. And you can even pick up location by where they're looking at the catcher and stuff. I remember Jack McDowell, who was a great pitcher in Chicago and pitched here. I noticed when I used to hit off, and he would stare going right at the catcher, and you could tell location before he even let go of the ball.
Now let's take a look at Teixeira's eyes. Let's see if these are the eyes that you're talking about, David.
So right here, you're going to get a hanging breaking ball, and
I waited. I know I got it.
Yeah, they got big. And a big blast, a 3-run shot. You know, Paul, going back to the first inning when Teixeira lined out in center, you mentioned that he said to himself, keep doing the same thing.
Stay right there, stay right
listen.
there. And, I wouldn't be surprised, and they had a little extra batting practice today, but Mark Teixeira's a worker. That, he didn't, sit down and think about some stuff and work on some stuff, and it just, he has had good at-bats tonight.
Cano hits one to right field. And Torrey Hunter fights it into the glove for the second out. Hitting the road, take the Yankees with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Yankees out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. With that one swing by Teixeira, Scott Downs' ERA went from 0.30 to 1.19. Now with that out, it's down to 1.17.
Still buy into that, wouldn't you, Combs?
That's still pretty good. It's what you call regressing to the mean. Sooner or later, you're gonna end up around your average. Every now and then you have a career year or a career first half. But Scott Downs has just been remarkable, really, since he's become an Angel. He's had unbelievable numbers.
Count 0-2. And Swisher not in love with that call.
Well, Mike Everett has had, pitcher strike zone tonight, without a doubt. Especially the low ball. He's calling the ball borderline low all night long. He's definitely a low ball umpire.
This is more of, I'm sure, the first half of what Downs was. You see him slinging the ball, but everything's low now. And with that sink, you're not going to come in with an ERA that he did pitching up in the zone.
Kind of a microcosm of the Yankees season so far. You think about it, that they do it the hard way. The 3-run home run. They had opportunities many times in this game, and you give C.J. Wilson credit, the starter for the Angels tonight. But man on third, nobody out. Now we don't get that guy in. Or leadoff double. No, we're not going to get that guy in. We're not going to get him in. We're going to have to hit the 3-run home run to tie it up in the 8th inning, and that's the guy who got the 3-run homer. The Yankees once again the long ball.
Tell you what, if you're C.J. Wilson and you're sitting in the locker room and you just got your head down because you did such a good job. I mean, you battled, you got huge outs, you got outs, men on third base, you put your team in a position to win. You get to the bullpen where you want to get to your late inning guys, and it just so happens that, tonight you give up a big 3-run homer, but he did about as much as he could do with this Yankee lineup tonight.
Can't forget that Jeter and Granderson set it up for Teixeira. The big double by Jeter starting off the inning, and then a real tough walk for Granderson, who struggles against Downs. That's a big play, and that set up the Teixeira 3-run home run. 2 or more home runs this year. The Yankees are 35-8. You see how it breaks down, 2-14 when they don't hit a home run. And Swisher works a walk. So a rare rough inning for Scott Downs. So rough that Mike Scioscia's going to go to the bullpen. So by going to the bullpen now, he's bringing in a righty. So that means he's electing to have Raul Ibanez pinch hit for Jones rather than have Jones against the left-hander Downs. Let's see if Girardi does go to Ibanez or maybe Chavez. We'll see. Stay right here. Well, now's your chance to take on Russ, brought to you by Toyota. Do you think it's fair that the winning league in the All-Star game determines home field advantage in the World Series? You could vote A, yes, B, no, C. It doesn't matter. This year will be a Subway Series. Text A, B, or C to 70377 or go to my9tv.com. Find out the results right after the game. It's Take on Russ, brought to you by Toyota. All right, so we've got Kevin Jepson on in relief of Scott Downs, and as we thought, Joe Girardi is going to counter with Raul Ibanez, the pinch hit for Andrew Jones. Those are the numbers on Jepson. This is his 13th game, 10 innings, 9 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, and a 7.20 ERA. There could be a lot of reasons for this move. I don't think that Downs has thrown that many pitches that many times this year in an inning, so he's probably tiring because Downs can get out righties, but what you've done here is you bring in a righty, and the Yankees counter with a lefty to play to the shorter part of the park. So it's a little bit of a gamble for Scioscia. Dwayne Wise is going to pinch run for Swisher. Yankees would like to get that run in, bring in their closer in the 9th inning, and get ready for tomorrow.
You know, in these situations, too, a lot of times you don't think a pinch runner in this situation, but Wise, he's on his own. And, Mike, we did a game before in the same situation. He took off.
Pitch outside. Raul Ibanez does not have great numbers as a pinch hitter in his career. Just 20 hits and 119 at-bats. A 168 average, but he does have 2 home runs as a pinch hitter.
Take into consideration, Coney, when you're pitching, this guy's a pinch hitter, and how hard it was to pinch hit. You know, I got to get this out. I mean, there were a few guys that were really, really good at it, but it's a hard thing to do.
Well, it's a great point. Later in my career, I started to realize it more, and you know, you can get a quick strike because a lot of times, especially if you know the tendencies, you know, and with Ibanez here, he tends to take a strike, so you can get a quick strike there, and even on 1-0 there, you could see Jessamine got a strike to get it back to 1-1.
Runner goes, pitches outside, throw to second, stolen base for Wise.
picked a good pitch to go on. He got the curveball. Throws way up in front of the bag, though, so maybe he can get the tag. Nope. He had a shot if he could have got a quick tag there, but Wise picked a good pitch to go on.
So now Mike Butcher will come out, the pitching coach, and they got a decision to make here. What do you do? Do you walk Ibanez, the lefty batter, and face Russell Martin, who has struggled so much? Before they make the decision, what do you guys do?
I'm not pitching to Ibanez here. I'm not letting him beat me. Whether I walk him or not, I'm going to pitch around him to get to Martin.
If I'm a manager, I say, you know, if you get behind 3-1 or something, we'll walk him. But, you know, try to make your good pitch here. And if you can get a strikeout, I hate to put people that are due, that are struggling in positions where they can really make hay, and that's what you're doing if you put Russell Martin up there with a men's scoring position.
Of course, Girardi's got the option to go to Chavez, too.
Isn't it also dangerous to tell a pitcher, okay, pitch to him, but be careful? You kind of like hedging your bet there.
Well, you got to know your pitcher. Yeah. You know, and maybe not with a young reliever, but.
Well, they tried on the 2-1, and then they decided to intentionally walk him. All right, now does Girardi let Martin go? Yeah, he is. He's not going to send up Eric Chavez. Martin against right-handed pitching this year is hitting 147. So, Paul, you believe in due.
You know what? I believe that this, and I said earlier in the game that this is a big game for Russell Martin. You start believing in your head that, you know, this is a new season for me. The second half, this is a big at bat for him. He hit another ball hard to third, didn't get a runner in. But, you know, this could be a huge hit for him and start him in the second half.
In a 5-5 game late in the game, too. You know, if you pinch hit Chavez here for Martin, then you know, you put Stewart in, you're down to one catcher in an extra inning game.
And he's going to say Chavez for Nix. But let's see if he gets to Nix.
There's a base hit to right field. Martin comes through.
The Yankees have taken the lead. Wise scores. Ibanez to third. Martin with a gigantic hit as the Yankees have come all the way back to take a 6-5 lead.
Tell you what, as a hitter, sometimes you need at bats like this because it gets all the negative things out of your mind. It's a tie game. It's a big at bat. You don't think if I'm 0 for my last 10, 1 for my last 50, you just get a big hit, drive in a big run, and I tell you what, when you're running down first base, you're the happiest man in the world.
Boy, he hit a good pitch too. Down and away, maybe not even a strike. Broke his bat. Gladly trade that bat for that hit.
All right, so the Yankees send up Chavez to pinch hit for Nix, and that's a happy man, Russell Martin. He picks up his 22nd run batted in. Pitch is high. So the Yankees trailing 5-2 coming to the bottom of the 8th inning. A 3-run home run by Teixeira, a big 2-out base hit by Russell Martin, and now they could win this game by closing out the top of the 9th inning with Soriano, but still looking for more here. And there's a strike.
Tips, and all of a sudden you see that radar gun starting to light up a little bit. 96, 97, but you don't see the movement that you've seen earlier in the game. Wilson had good movement on his fastball. Downs has a good sinker. This is just straight, old-fashioned hardball here.
Grounded sharply to short. Tough hop played there by Ibar, and that will do it. But the Yankees bat around, and they tied the score with one swing. Mark Teixeira's gone deep already tonight against the tough Scott Downs. Hanging breaking ball, and he hangs a 3-run home run on Downs. A little later in the inning, Yankees lead 6-5, look to close it out.
Tonight after the game, Robbie Cano reveals a big secret to his success. The two big tips he got from A-Rod and Jeter that changed his career. On the Verizon Fios game wrap-up tonight on the 10 o'clock news on My 9.
Well, 2 swings changed this game for the Yanks. 2 home runs by Teixeira, so now they tighten up the defense. Dwayne Wise in left, and Darnell McDonald takes over in right for Swisher.
Look at Dwayne Wise and what happened there. A lot of times managers put in pinch hitters to score on doubles and stuff. He steals at base. Now they pitch around Ibanez. Now Russell Martin gets that at bat, drives him in. So, you know, that's a big play, and it's kind of forgotten because Russell Martin got the big hit. But, you know, it was kind of set up by a pinch runner stealing a base.
Here's Soriano trying to close it out, and he deals a strike to Callaspo. Soriano has been not good. He's been outstanding in taking over for first Mariano and then David Robertson. And the Yankees have not skipped the beat in the 9th inning with Soriano closing things out. Now, he's not as automatic or quote-unquote clean as Mariano, but he certainly gets the job done.
He definitely has a different demeanor pitching the 9th inning. Soriano does, as opposed to what we saw him setting up last year.
Look at the numbers. 20 of 21 save opportunities. He became the closer on May 10th. He's walked just 7. 22 strikeouts, sporting an ERA of 1.25, and opponents not hitting much against him.
Look at him from the booth here, Tony, and you can explain better. Not an overpowering, not 95, 96, a decent curveball, but he gets out.
And he gets an out right there as Callaspo swings and misses. 1 away.
I mean, he really mixes up his pitches. He'll throw this breaking ball as much as his fastball, so it's very hard to sit on any one pitch with Soriano. He got good depth and good tilt on that breaking ball. I think he took a little bit off of that one too.
Pitch to Kendrick is low. So many people have asked me, what is he right behind the mound, and what does he look at in the cap between batters? And he doesn't really like to talk about it, so I asked Girardi. He goes, I don't want to ask him. He goes, I hope it's a scouting report in his hat that he's reading, but I don't want to bother him.
You know, a lot of things go on during the game that you want to remind yourself what you're supposed to be thinking about. I mean, there were times where I would draw little eyes on the barrel of my bat and then look out there, and it just told me, see the ball, just simple things like that. And this might be a pitching mechanic or just something simple that you remind yourself throughout the game in front of 50,000 people. Could be a tiny little simple thing.
Now, did you draw the eyebrows and the eyelashes, or just eyeballs?
Now listen to this, Michael. This is how crazy it got. I would draw little eyes on there, and then if I had a couple at bats that I hit with balls at people, I would put glasses on them to make sure saw the openings a little bit better. You didn't even know I was doing that, did you?
No, that's a first right there. That's a good one.
Here's the 2-1. Missed outside, 3-1.
Generally speaking, players that write things on their equipment, their gloves or their hats, it's usually more spiritual in nature. Believe in yourself or something simple. Something related to confidence.
The 3-1. 3-2.
It's such a team game, Tony. You say that, but when you're hitting, when you're pitching, it's basically, hey, I'm better than you or you're better than me, and it gets to be a one-on-one game, and it can be, just believe in yourself. I'm better than this guy, and so sometimes you got to remind yourself.
94-mile-an-hour fastball fouled back to the screen.
times where you'd step in that box confident, I can hit this guy, and you see the first pitch and you step out and like, wow, I got no chance here. Thought that was a strike, huh?
That served into right field, a base hit for Kendrick.
Talked early in the game, you know, Howie Kendrick hitting 270 something. I mean, this is why he is a natural 300 hitter. He waits on this ball, and he can serve it to right field a lot like Derek Jeter does. Stays inside, not going to strike out a lot, doesn't get fooled, doesn't jump out there and try to do too much with it.
Yeah, 3-2 slider, hits it the other way. And that's Soriano. Soriano will throw any pitch at any time. I mean, he features that slider quite a bit. And Kendrick, yeah, that's why you talk about him being a batting champion back when he first broke in, because of that approach right there.
Here's Ibar. Third inning, he put the Angels on the board. He put a ball into the second deck in right field. Only his third home run of the year.
And back to Dwayne Wise. I mean, he stole that base. Now you get in a situation where, you know, Russell Martin has had so much success tonight throwing guys out that, you know, if you're the Angels, you have to pretty much put on the brakes and hope for, you know, an extra base hit.
High fly ball. Foul territory. Teixeira gives it a look, but it's well in the seats.
Like Ibar was taking another shot for a home run there. See him biting on his uniform there like he missed that pitch down and in.
So Soriano ahead in the count 0-2. Yankees with the best record in baseball looking to make it better. The 0-2. Right in on the hands. It's popped up middle of the infield. Teixeira calls everybody off to make the second out. Ending the first half of the season, the Yankees and the Angels were the hottest teams. Yankees 31-12 since May 22nd, and the Angels right behind them at 30-13.
Boy, you haven't seen this in a while. The Pittsburgh Pirates hanging in there.
Pinch hitter for the Angels is Meiser Estouris, pinch hitting for the catcher John Hester. Angels down to their final out. Low. That one gets away from Russell Martin. He gets it quickly, and that's the ball game. So the Angels run into the final out, and a big night for Russell Martin. He gets 3 caught stealing, and he picks up the game-winning hit, and the Yankees win this one 6-5 to start off the second half in great fashion. Boy, he's pumped up, Paul.
I'll tell you what, I mean, this is the perfect game for Russell Martin. A huge hit, great defensive play, and you just feel like this could be a little hot streak for him. And if you throw another bat and another confident bat in this lineup, it really, really helps.
Russell Martin's so athletic, just pounces on this ball. No way it's going to bounce right up to him, and he's going to throw a bullet right on the money. But indeed, that's the way it works. Kendrick can't believe it.
Well, this ball bounces up and he bare hands it. Takes a little less time and just throws a bullet down there.
And Kendrick's hand actually ran into Jeter's foot rather than the bag, and that's why he was out. And Russell Martin celebrates a rare good night for him in this 2012 season. He has struggled offensively. He never let it affect him defensively, and both sides came together as the Yankees win. We'll be back.